Trading with the Family. My name is Anthony. This is our Sunday charting session. If you're here and you haven't done so, you can like and subscribe over in the WhatsApp or on YouTube or wherever you're watching us at, or you're here in the Google Meetup. You can ask questions personally. If you're in YouTube, if I can catch a question over there, I'll try and grab that also and answer it. But we're going to be talking this week about the market. We have the big bill that passed. President Trump affectionately calls it the big beautiful bill. And so I've actually been reading through the bill. I stayed up the other night till about 2 o'clock in the morning reading through the bill, and there's actually quite a bit in that bill that we want to be aware of. And if you have a business, you definitely want to know what's in that bill. I own a business, so we're going to be definitely paying attention. But not only that is how is it going to affect the market? And so I think with all the money that's coming in over the next couple of years, they're saying it'll possibly add $3 trillion to the debt of the country. But overall, as monies are being introduced and the Fed goes into cutting into September and through the end of the year, as those cuts come in, I think the market is going to go up. So we will see what we see when we see it, but I think the market's going to go up. Elon also said that he's going to start his own party now, so we have to be aware of that if you trade Tesla. So one of the things we want to look at today is the market just opened up and it gapped up. Let me go to the 3-minute trading sideways. Wouldn't really consider it a bull flag because we almost like a doji. We just wicked up. It's a big old doji. So kind of indecisive with the price action in the middle. I don't think they're going to bring it back and fill this gap. It looks like they want to trade us sideways, and they'll probably take us up back to 62.65. They're probably going to take us right back to where we were on Friday before the drop. So be aware of that on tomorrow. And I mean, if you're not already in position in calls to absorb that, looks like 62.81 is what we're looking for a break of on the SPX. And we're already heading that direction. We have an entry of 62.69. We break that, and we're going to continue back up to all-time highs. We break all-time highs. Let's look on the weekly real quick. We break all-time highs, which is this wick here, 62.85. And look how close we are when you zoom out. It's a whole different perspective. When you zoom out, you see we're right here. I would be looking for 6,300. 63. I would put my line right here this week, 63.13. Let me see if I can mark that, and then we're going to see where that takes us. 63, right about there, 63.13, 63.15. That would be what I would be looking for, maybe tomorrow, later this week. July is actually one of the best months for trading. So we normally get a couple of weeks up. So I will say, if you see green, take it. Don't play around. If you're up big, 40, 50%, and I know we get bigger percentages than that, but we've forgotten that 40 and 50% is a really good return. Actually, a 20%. I mean, the market overall returns a 16% yearly. So if we were actually trading large accounts, $500,000, $1 million accounts and getting those returns, you could be done trading in just a few days for the whole year with those types of returns. So don't forget, if we get a breakout of this area, the 62.89, and we break into this 300 area this week, if you're in profit, we don't know what can happen. I know there's going to be talks this week of the tariffs. And like I said, Elon is starting the American party. So we don't know what's going to be bullish, what's going to be bearish. So definitely keep your eyes out for that. Um, and let me see. The Magnificent Seven again are leading the way on this run up. And so what I wanted to do today was actually just go down the list a little bit. Oh, before that, um, crypto. If you don't have crypto, man, Ethereum, Bitcoin, and XRP are getting ready to go. I was up charting this early this morning and last night. We're getting ready to have some serious breakouts on this crypto. So if you're not in and you don't have any, look at this. We've been under the 200-day moving average. This is XRP. You hear a lot of people talking about XRP since May the 30th. When it first started taking off earlier this year, it ran up off of, well, it was really, really low. It took off from way over here. This was November, and people started going crazy. It was 55 cents, and it ran all the way up to 295. 295. We got way up there, and then it came back, and then it went all the way up to 339. Yep, January 2025, we were all the way up, and then we pulled back, and we just been kind of trading in a range. But if you look now on the daily, we went under the 200. So this is our, remember, we went under the 200 just a little bit in April, and it came right back up. And then we broke under the 200 May 29th, and we've been under the 200 ever since. So what we're looking for now on is, look at the bottom, look at the support. I drew this line this morning. If you look at XRP, we had these lows in April when we thought things were just going to be really, 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 really bad, and they trumped us, and he started cutting the tariffs, and things shot up. But look where support is. It's pulled back to 190. Look over here, 190. Look over here, 190 area over here, wicked out of it, boom, back up into 190, 190. So right here is our major support, 190. But look at what we're doing. We just triggered a buy. We came off of that 190 support. We came down, formed a new higher low, 207, came up and back down, 215. And now look, we hit this flat line right here and triggered a buy at 224. Now we are ready to go. We came down, triggered another bounce at 220, and we've been wicking all the way up to 233. But look at where the 200-day moving average is, 235. That's what I'm looking for this week. This week into next week, possibly. It can happen very fast. Now that we're in a buy on the daily, I'm looking for a nice move up. This move over here, April 22nd, we got a buy on the daily, but then we were above the 200. It came down, found support, and boom, straight up. So I'm looking for a break above the 200, and then look at cheat code. It's telling us 250, 266, 279, and then I drew, I think there's a gap over here somewhere on one of the time frames, but I'm looking for us to get above 283, and that's going to take us right up to $3. So if you don't have any, man, don't wait for it to get to $5 and then you buy an XRP. If you don't have any, it's $2.28. I mean, $10, $20, $30, not financial advice, but I'm just saying, everybody's like, man, Bitcoin is $109,000. I mean, if I'd have known back in the day, I would have loaded up. Well, this is your Bitcoin back in the day at $2.28. So this is your opportunity not to miss it. Everybody always say, if they would have known. This is where you can buy a few shares of this and just wait a few years, because whether you guys know it or not, our currency is getting ready to change. The currency we're using is not going to be the currency that is going to exist here before long. it's all going to get switched on us. And so don't be the last one to know and the last one to switch. And whether we like it or not, we're going cashless. And so look for breakouts on XRP, Ethereum. We're just above the 200-day moving average. Bitcoin Cash. I mean, look, we just broke through the entry for the upside on Ethereum, coming off of the pattern right here. We've been talking about this pattern forever. Look at this. This is a dragonfly doji style pattern. We've been talking about this pattern. If you can spot the patterns, we're going to take us from patterns to profitability. If you can spot these patterns and know what they mean, that's how you make the money. And I want to show you that pattern. We got time. Let me show you this pattern. I want you guys to start noticing these patterns. And if you can find the patterns, you don't have to be nervous about going in. Let me see. Let's see. Is it letting me control that one? Here we go. I want to find that pattern. I had looked it up earlier, but I want you guys to see it. Here we go, right here. It's a hammer. It's a hammer, or you could call it a dragonfly doji also. But let's read about that. It says there's the hammer. The hammer candle appears at the bottom of a downtrend before a reversal. So if you know that we've been in a downtrend and this is a reversal, once you see the thing wicking and then to take off the other way, then you know, hey, it's time to get in calls. So the cue would be off of the wick before all of this appears. But you got to be able to notice what's happening, you know, what's appearing in front of your eyes. So when you see that pattern, you have to understand, hey, this is a bullish pattern forming here. I know what's going to come in the future on the pattern. And so let me switch back and show you. When you start seeing these patterns, you have to know, oh man, I know what this is. It's go time. It's go time. And so now look, when you see this pattern, we got the downtrend. We bounced off of the 200, which makes it even better. We bounced off the 200, and here's the wick, and now we're going the other way. The next candle will be over here. The next, so you want to be able to get in knowing off of these wicks. Oh, I know what's forming. This is the 200-day moving average. We wicked off of it. We came back and wicked off of it. The next move is a move up and a move up. So the next move actually will take us to 279. 279 short term. We break this wick right here, 284. From 284, look, 3029. 3029 is where we're headed. So let's get ready for that. On the flat lines, yep, they definitely have us breaking 2779, 2822. And then we're straight up here because look at how it fell. There's nothing over here but imbalance candles. So honestly, I would be looking for 3441. Let me see, what is that over here? 3441. Yep, 3441 would appear just before TP3. So that's a really, really good entry right here. If you don't have any Ethereum, you can buy it on Webull, Moomoo, a bunch of these apps, Coinbase. Get you some Ethereum, not financial. I'm just telling you, I have it, XRP, and I have Bitcoin. And I just continue to dollar cost average and DCA. And so definitely want to start out talking about those because We don't want to be oblivious to what's going on. And then think about it. The president just took and put money into Bitcoin. And so we don't want to miss out on that move. Let me see. So let's cover now BBIA. We talked about the SPY already. I'm looking for a breakout higher, and I'm looking for that 6,300. So 6,300 on, that was on the SPX. On the SPY, that takes us up to roughly 666 on the well, 631 on the SPX, and then it'll take us into this area 637, 638, and then TP4 kind of caught my eye because it's 666. So we're getting ready to get a big move. We're getting ready to get a really big move on the SPY and SPX. Another stock that we do not want to miss is BBAI. They're calling this the new Palantir. This thing has been running. I mean, I got in at like $4, somewhere over here, $4.50. Like right in this area, somewhere over here. And now we traded sideways and boom, we broke out. We literally have been just skating across the 200-day moving average, and now we've broken out. We've broken out. So what I'm looking for on BBAI, if you don't have it, and the sun just came out. I'm gonna turn my camera off so you're not looking at me all crazy. Yeah, if you don't have BBAI, please, this is another one. Just like I got Palantir and I'm up 1,600%. You might say, well, how'd you do that? I'm looking at the support. I'm buying on support and then taking it up. Taking it up, I look for resistance, look for a pullback, and then buy again. Buy at support. If you're going to sell at resistance. This is resistance. $8.26. So if you're not in, you say, well, man, where do I get in at? Right now we hit $8 and we pull back. Price action came back. So I would say right here on cheat code, it's telling us $7. If we come back to the bottom of this wick, this is $7.56. You can buy there. 50% of this candle to the base of over here to this candle, which is just below TP4, $7.14. Should we be fortunate enough to see that? And if we come back that far, my next buy zone would be the bottom of this candle at 665, 625, and then the bottom of the gap, 588. So once again, if you don't have BBAI, look at buying at you can say 596, the top of the gap, 654, 716, or at 756. If you see those levels, listen back to the video. If you see those levels, just dollar cost average in, we're up really, really big on this right now, just on the shares. And if you're in the options, I mean, right now, the best place to be looking is out to like 2027. This thing is getting ready to fly. We're looking for it to go back and take out those highs. We're looking for it to take out these highs. And the way that it's been running, it could open up past this tomorrow. The market shot up, so I think it's seeing the bill as good news. We'll see what happens in the morning. But if you see a break of $10.29, don't chase. Just look for a pullback. Look for a pullback. If it opens up and it's already gone, just look for a pullback, because all-time highs are 1606. You definitely want to be in before that. You do not want to be on this channel getting all this information and you let it get into the 16s. No, do not do that. Try and get in before it crests $10. Before we break out of $10, you need to have at least some type of position formed if you're going to trade this to the upside. I'm keeping mine for the next 5 to 10 years. So I don't care what it does. If it pulls back, I'm loading up. If it comes back to 5, oh man, that'd be the grace of God. I'm trying to tell you, that'd be the grace of God. Next thing we want to keep our eye on is Tesla. Again, Elon is talking about doing his own political party. Don't know how that's going to float in America. I know some countries have just 10, 15, 20, 30 parties. But what's been going on here, let me see if we can come out of the daily and go to the 4-hour or the 9-hour, and we'll get a better idea. The after hour, we actually pull back under the 200. So overall, looks like we're in a big bull flag. We're flagging and we pull back. I would think the next move would be a move up, the way that it's been trading. This was from Wednesday, July the 2nd. We went all the way up to 322. Price action diminished. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher low, lower low, and then a lower low. So I would imagine with this being in a buy on the 4-hour, let's see the 9-hour. Yep, I would imagine that we're going to go back and retest this 321 area and possibly trigger a buy. And the entry is 322.71 to the upside. So if we don't get a bunch of selling tomorrow off of this news of him starting his own party, I would be looking for this area right here. I wrote in there already, breakout. 330.78, $330.78. If we can trigger a buy this week at 321.52 and then work our way through this area, this candle at 325.42, break out this candle 329.32, break above these, we're headed back to 350. Back to 350, and that area has not been retested since June 24th. So you see, we went there back in on June the 4th. We came down, came back up, down, retested that area, didn't hold, came out of it. So now I'm looking for a retest. And look at they're saying set your stop loss there, because cheat code also knows if we can't break this time, double top, this will make a triple top, we go down. Market go up, market go down. And that would be while the TPs are to the downside. Could be because of this information with him starting his own company. I'm in some leaps. I would probably sell one and just reposition. But looks like at least, if we can't break out, I would say at least to the downside. The flat lines on cheat code do not lie. That would be, oh man, 272. We lose 272. Boom. We come right back here. Yep, 232. So if you see Tesla breaking down, and you see Tesla breaking down big this week, and if you hear of a break of, honestly, if we break, I would say 286.80, man, you can get in puts and ride this thing all the way down to, shoot, they got 230. Yeah, 232. That's a heck of a drop. That's a big drop. That's some really good money right there. And you can see the support over here. So we're probably not going to pass these areas. You can see the support down at 215 where we just were back in April. So I don't think we're going to surpass that, but anything is possible. Like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible. I don't know if y'all remember that in basketball. But yeah, so that's Tesla. Now, we talked about the market going up and it being led by tech. The only reason the market is running so hard is because we got all this good news with the bills passing. Let me go to the daily. If you get the 3 to 4 largest companies in the market to go up, then the market's going to go up. It has no There's nothing else it can do. So y'all look at Apple, easy trading. We've been up 1, 2, 3, last 4 days, green, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then look, we got a gap right here now. We literally just wicked off the gap on Apple at 214.75. And look at the gap. The gap takes us all the way up to 220.91, and right above that is the 200-day moving average. So, man, be ready. I mean, if the market's going to run like that, you do not want to miss it. You want to be there for that ride, and you want to enjoy that. And so I will be keeping my eyes peeled on this, because if you can get Apple to go up, and then look at this. Apple, where's Microsoft? Look at that, straight up, all-time highs. This is on the daily. This is not a small time frame. This is on the daily. We break out 500, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Let me go to the weekly. So if you get Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA all going up, look at this. We're talking a 524, 569 on the weekly on Microsoft. So there's some big moves coming. So once again, let me help you understand. If somebody says the market is crashing, things are going down, doesn't matter. We have to come back and take a look and see what the charts are saying. So when we come back and we look at the charts are not saying anything about the crash. The charts are saying that this thing is about to get ran up. So when we look at Microsoft at all-time highs with the next level, 524, 569, we look at Apple, which is in the top 3 of the top weighted companies in the stock market, now recovering. Look, on the weekly, oh my gosh, getting ready to trigger a buy at 215.67. Please write that down. If we break 215, let me zoom that in. Let me make that big. We do not want to miss this. I'm glad I did this on the weekly. If we break right here, 215.57, Apple is going at least to 220. And then it's got the 200-day moving average sitting right here. We're getting ready to trigger a buy on the weekly. On the daily, I think we're already in a buy. Yep, we're in a buy on the daily. This is getting ready to go. So if this will be an A++ setup. Somebody please put Apple in the chat as a trade for this week. I'm going to put it in right now. Easy money. Easy money. APPL. What is the ticker? I'm trying to look at it.
I think it's AAPL. I think.
AAPL. So yeah, so you do calls. You can do the weeklies. Weekly call, and we're going to look at the 220s, the top of that gap. Easy play. I just put it in the chat. The Apple calls for this week, you can make serious bank. I'll trade it and put it right in the chat and show you on tomorrow. Because what you want to do too, so with this, as the market is opening, because remember the market already gapped up, so Apple's going to be much higher. It could already be and close the gap by the time we get. Let's go back and look at the SPY and see if it's still going up. Because if Apple is running, Microsoft is running, and NVIDIA are all breaking out, look at NVIDIA. We're going to blow through 160 like it's not there. 171 is on tap. So these are the top rated companies in the S&P 500, Apple, Microsoft, and NVIDIA. If they all three, let me see, NVIDIA is, what is market cap? 3.8 trillion. Jeez. Apple, market cap, 3.3 trillion. Microsoft, I think Microsoft had passed NVIDIA for a second on the market cap. So these are big companies. You're talking some of the largest companies in the world. Look, 3.7 trillion. I mean, these are big companies that are moving. So it's basically like a tornado, you know, like you're getting caught in a tornado with these three companies running, because if these big boys run, it doesn't matter what nobody's saying. If Microsoft, I'm about to put these side by side. If Microsoft, Nvidia, and Apple are running, it's a wrap. Market go up. You have no choice but for the market to go up. And I want to be able to watch these together. So if these three go up, look at Microsoft, $7, 13 million in the volume. Apple, 34 million in the volume. Nvidia, 143 million in the bottom volume. You could just trade one of these. You don't have to go look for money. You could trade any one of these to the upside if the market is going to go. Now, also, Palantir, it was the #1 traded stock last year in the S&P 500. But look at the market cap on Palantir. Look, it's only 317 billion. They could buy Palantir for cash. They wouldn't even know that they got it in their portfolio. Oh, there's a $300 billion over there. Man, look, listen, Nvidia is so big, it could buy Palantir. Look at the market cap on Starbucks. It could buy Palantir. This is how, look at this, 100 billion. Nvidia could buy Palantir. Starbucks, they could buy Hood. Look, 800 or 83 billion. Nvidia, all those companies would literally fit into Nvidia. You wouldn't even know they're there. 3 trillion, you wouldn't even know they're there. HIMS, what is HIMS market cap? So I'm saying all that to say is if these big, 10 billion, you can fit HIMS over in the Palantir. So if these big companies are getting ready to go, and I mean, Microsoft looks really, really good. I missed the run up. Damon had mentioned it to me, but I missed all of this. But I guarantee you I won't miss the rest of the run, because y'all, whether we like it or not, let's go to the SPY. And it's not anything for us to like or not, but look at this on the monthly. Let's say the two week. Look at the TPs and look at these candles. Look at this coming off of May 27. Boom, we traded sideways. Boom, we broke out. We broke out. And look, coming off of lows, coming off of that gravestone pattern that we were just talking about. Market went down, market came up. We're back above the 200. Next target on the 2 week, 662. We're headed to 700. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say we will be here. I'm gonna say with all the earnings coming up, unless something bad happens, I'm imagining we're in July. July is the best month for trading. I'm gonna go out on the limb and say that we're gonna hit I'll say November, like the middle of November, November 20th or somewhere like that. 690 area. I'll just put 690 area, November 20th. And see, this is how you test your charting. Put the stuff on the chart so you have a record of what you're thinking and see if it happens. But money is coming into this market. I mean, 51 million on the SPY, SPX. I mean, I guarantee you SPX, I'm getting ready to switch. I have not looked. I'm going to say 3 billion. I'm going to say 3 billion on SPX. Let me look. SPX, where's SPX? Trading with the family. It's on my watch list. SPX, 1.7 billion, almost 2 billion. I was thinking 3, but we saw 3 billion the other day. And it's getting ready to go. It's getting ready to go. So be aware of that. On the Qs, same setup. Same setup. I drew these triangles in there, and we're breaking straight out of all that. We've already broken that. Next level on this, on the Qs, should we keep moving up the way that we're moving up? 656, basically 560. Which is $40. $40 out of 600. You could do the 600 call to next summer. Let's take a look at that real quick. Anybody got the did I hear Damon? Let me see if I can open up Weeble. I want to see the volume, but I
Yeah, I'm
bet you.
here.
Can you look at QQQs, the 600 call for June of next year? I bet
Okay.
you. I bet you they're sitting there probably for January. They're going to be. I would expect the volume to be maybe 15,000, 20,000 in the open interest. The way the market is moving, they always front load it. They show up front loaded, and then we find out about it. Then by the time we find out about it, we're like, oh man, they have loaded this thing up. But
That's
it's
for
not
January.
either January or next June. QQQ to 600. Are they sitting in the 600? Or they probably maybe the 580? I would imagine.
Let's see, 2,900 in the open interest for January. Let me try June.
29 is not bad either. How much is that? How much is that position?
3,000 for the June 18th, 2026.
3,000. See, more volume in next June because over time the market goes up, and by the time we get to next June, I mean, let's look at this on the 3 month, on the quarterly. Because if they're buying the next June, they're trading this on the quarterly. Look at that. Look at that, will you? So they're saying 3 months. So that's July, August, September, November, December. December. So we got 2 more quarters. So 3 more months, 583. 3 more months, 671. 3 more months, 760. So we would be into next next August, next September, roughly, by the time we see 760. But imagine you bought the June call. How much is the June? Like 4,000? How many dollars?
One second. Let me go right back.
The June, because I'm
It's
thinking,
3,300.
yeah, that'd be the best money you ever spent. We go in the money by the end of this year, and you got all of next year running deep in the money. That's a good call. And look at this. You can see on the quarterly, look at this. Higher high, higher high, higher high. We only pulled back when the tariffs came out, which was right here, January. We pulled back. Price action opened up where we have the wick. Let me take these lines off. Price action opened up in January after, and see, double top. So I want everybody to see this is a clear double top. This is December, October, November, December. That's these 3 months. Then we get here, January, February, March. We wicked all the way out and went all the way down to a low of 456. And then remember, your green candles open from the bottom up. We went lower to 402. This is April, May, June. And then we came all the way back up with all that easing of the tariffs and things getting better. Now look at where we are. We already know, listen, there's no way the president's going to be able to trick us and tell us he's going to be harsh on tariffs. His cronies and his buddies ain't going to let him. If you was going to be harsh on tariffs, we'd be literally down here now. It's just not going to happen. So surprise, if they were going to be tough on the tariffs and we were going to see what we thought we were going to see, by now we would be in the 200s. But he started getting phone calls, JP Morgan, these people from Walmart showing up, and Home Depot just showing up at the White House, and he laxed all that stuff and the market went back up. So now you can see the next move. It's been a steady move up, a double top, boom, came down, bounced off of support. Next move, honestly, is 583 on the quarterly. And then after that, 671. So I might look at getting one of those or paper trading those. But I think that looks like a good position, another good position for somebody watching. You know, if you have the capital to trade like that, it's just easy. You can trade like that while you're at work. You don't have to worry about jumping in and jumping out. 644. Next thing we want to look at is NVIDIA, because this move is being led by tech. With all the AI coming out and everything that's going on, look at NVIDIA on the quarterly. steady up, double top, pull back. Same thing that the Qs and the Nasdaq are doing. Same thing. So this is another thing we need to do too when we're charting. Zoom out. You know, when you're looking close in, there's a lot of static, there's a lot of noise. But if you zoom out to the quarterly, the monthly, the weekly, the 2 weeks, it gives you a clear direction on which way we're going. Because look, this is the 2 week. Now, the closer we get in, you start seeing static and start getting worried. You're like, oh man, I don't know which way it's going. All you have to do is zoom out. So look, this is the 15-minute. You don't see all of this when you zoom out. So if you buy on the dip, like if you bought here, July, and now look, we're up. Buy on the dip and then go long, you still be up, even with this slight pullback on NVIDIA. On NVIDIA, I'm simply looking at the daily chart, the weekly chart, and the 9-hour. That's basically how I'm trading it. I'm in NVIDIA to next summer. I'm in the 300, and then I'm just literally buying the shares on every pullback. Yep, looking for a break of 160, and somewhere in this area here, I would say 50%, like a 166.45 maneuver. I just go 50%. I don't try and be, I'm just holding for 170. I'm up 300%. But I that's what the lines say. That's what cheat codes say. No, you can get out before that. I don't care what it says. If I'm up, and that's my money. So that's my money. I want my money now. So I'm not going to sit around and wait for you to get to that level. You know, I mean, I know that level is coming, but that level might not come this week. It would be a lot more sensible for me to believe that I wicked off of basically 160.88, literally TP1. So if we wicked off a TP1, I would look for a retest of TP1, a break through that area, and then possibly a $5 to $6 move. That I can believe. If we get a bigger move, fine and dandy. But after that, you know, this is really the type of market where you got to be almost in day trade, or, you know, every 2-3 days, you take your profit or put your stop loss on. You know, leave a runner. If you got 10, put the stop loss on 8, you know, and just leave a couple in there. If you got 20, you know, maybe stop loss on 15, let 5 run, something like that. But if you see profit, you don't want to be too risky with this market, because we know it's going up, but it doesn't make sense to continue to lose profit over and over and over. Nike, we're in the leaps. We closed above the 200-day moving average. If you didn't get in Nike, or you want to buy Nike, I would say get it before this breakout of 81.63. After that, it's going to move pretty fast on Nike, and it's going to be like you're chasing after that, because after we break this area, we got this gap, and it's going to close that gap up to 86 pretty quickly. So if you don't have Apple in the 70s, chances are you might not be able to get it in the 70s after the next 2 weeks, because once we clear 83.98, the gap is right here. We got, where's the gap? Yep, taking us up to 91.22. It's not a big gap, but it's a gap nonetheless. And it's going to be like a magnet, because we're above the 200-day moving average. So just keep your eye on Nike if you're thinking about trading it. If not, don't worry about it. I'm just in the leap, so I've been keeping an eye on it. Coin. If we get a breakout on Bitcoin, which 109 now, we've been waiting for this breakout on Bitcoin. We bounced off of 99. Let me see the 9-hour. It looks like it might be time. It looks like it might be time. You guys see how we bounced right here off of 107? We bounced off of 107 on the 9-hour, and look, it's just a gradual up. We pull back, and when was this? July the 3rd. July the 3rd, we went all the way up to 110.5. Hmm. Okay. I want to see a break of this triple top. Everybody's like, what triple top? What triple top? Look right here. We touch 110, 110, 110. So for me to get in more, I want to see a break of this area on Bitcoin. I want to see a break and continue in this range on Bitcoin. And what that's going to do is the market's been following Bitcoin. If we can clear 110, 110,000, like 500, it's going to catapult us over this 111. It's like you're standing up against the wall. Let me turn my camera on. Now the sun went out of my face. Let me give you an analogy. You know how you see guys, they're like doing the hurdles and they're running to the wall and there's somebody there to pick you up and they help you over the wall, like a SWAT team. They're trying to get over a wall, or an army unit. They're coming up to the wall and there's a guy, he bends down and he puts his hands and he's off his knees and he throws them up. That's what this is. This is the type of vibe it's giving me. It's giving me, once I can hit this, this is the one guy, two guy, three guys that's on their knees and hands saying, hey, we're going to help you up. Because normally after 3 tries on these highs, we get a push. When we get a push, and last time we got a push, look back over here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. See, last time we were getting all these hits. It was here, it was here, it was here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We got like 5 touches and it broke out. It broke out and we got this good push up. I mean, we went from 104, 112. It's a nice move. That's a nice move. So if we can get a run like that now, like a 104, 112 run over here, that puts us over here at like 113. Honestly, we're looking for the 120, the 120 area. This really what I'm looking for is a break of this area right here. When you see this break, it's a wrap on Bitcoin. It's a wrap. We're going to be hitting areas that people thought were not possible. And if you've been noticing, the president started putting his money in. They're trying to ease in slowly but surely. You got to be watching not what they're saying, but what they're doing. Look at how this thing is curving. Look at that curve back. That's a slingshot. And all we got to clear is here and here. And nobody even thought we were going to be able to hold these levels. 100,000 now is the floor. So think about that. If the market's going to run with Bitcoin because we're going cashless and this is our new capital, and look, TP2, 118.9. That's that 120 area. I just want to see it right here. So be ready for that, because if that runs, what I did was I started averaging in IBIT. I got in IBIT on the pullbacks, and look at IBIT. You might say, well, I can't afford Bitcoin. Get IBIT, $62. You can do calls on IBIT. We're above the 200-day moving average. And this will be the last one. It's 653. I want to take some questions. 653, but look at TP1, 68, 70, 74, 79. I mean, it's getting ready to go. And if we look at this on the weekly, we're in a buy on the daily. I want to see if we're in a buy on the weekly. We're in a buy on the weekly. TP1, 65, 71. So literally, as Bitcoin runs, this is going to run. As Bitcoin runs, MSRT, Coinbase, and that's why I literally started talking about it, was Coinbase. Where's Coin? Here. Because this is where people are going to be buying it. Coinbase is set up in a weekly buy with the next TP at 410. So if you see Bitcoin running, just know that we're probably going to break through this 400 area here in the next couple of months. And then look, we break 424. We've never been there before, guys. We've never been there before. All-time highs. Let me see. What are they saying for the levels on the monthly? I mean, good Lord. Look at that. 625. Okay, something big is getting ready to go down. I don't know what's getting ready to go down. I don't know if they're getting ready to take us off the dollar because the dollar is crashing. Look at the dollar. The dollar it was lower than this. It's at 96.9 now. But I'm telling you, you want to be in this crypto before it pops. 625? I mean, come on. This is on the monthly. We're at 355, 762, and 899. Man, I tell you what, I'm buying some crypto tomorrow. Not going to leave me behind. And if it pulls back, man, I would love to be able to get some at 298, but I don't think that's going to be possible no time soon. So that's all I got for tonight. Anybody got anything else? Listen, we're about to see some moves in crypto, the SPY, the Qs, with this big, beautiful bill passing. They're getting ready to run this market up. The dollar is going down. So anytime we have a weak dollar, look at the dollar. This was what was supposed to be happening a couple of months ago. I kept telling y'all we had an inverse in the market, and now we're forming like this sloppy M pattern. Dollars going down, weak dollar, strong market. We might get the dollar crashing all the way down to, oh my gosh. Oh my, I know somebody right now that's shorting the dollar that's been shorting it since 101 in $100,000 position. And they got it till January. I put right here a dollar breaking point. If we break 90, I mean, we're going to see some stuff in the news and stuff. I mean, looks like the dollar's done, especially with that bill passing. I don't know. Y'all can come off mute. Anybody got any questions? But it's weak dollar, strong market. I think they're going to run the market up. Look for a turnaround at any particular time. Once we get into like the 640s, 650s, maybe a pullback from somewhere in there. But I think right now it's just too juiced. It's like when you shake up a Coke bottle, it doesn't go down. It goes down after it shoots up, then it comes down. So if you can catch all that explosion to the upside, put your stop loss on or take your profit and then ride it down, you won't even be on the trading on the families on the Sunday. You'll be somewhere in the Caribbean. All right. Anybody got any questions? We got about 5 minutes left. I want to take any questions, anything that you're looking at or that you might trade on this week. Did everybody do the poll? I'm trying to see, make sure everybody has an account set up by now. I know we have new people coming in. Everybody's, I'm trying to find the poll I just did. Where's the poll? Here it is. Nobody voted, huh? 2 people voted. Y'all was like, last time we voted, we got Trump. We ain't voting. Oh, man.
What's the ticket symbol for the dollar?
DXY. Man, I'm about to short that thing into the grave. I'm not going to sit here and watch that no more. You know, it's okay to watch it every now and then. But now that this bill has passed and they're saying that we're going to bring an additional $3 trillion in debt into the economy over the next few years, I think the dollar is going to go down. There's going to be some major crash. We could get a big crash into the end of this year, into next year possibly, because this is unsustainable. This is unsustainable. What this is telling me is I can't do nothing with a dollar. So if you're not investing, you don't have real estate or something like that, you're not going to make it. Because now remember, on cheat code, price action always comes to the flat line. And boy, if TP3 ain't right here, this is millions of dollars sitting in front of us, guys. Look at this flat line, 79.23. Look at the next flat line right here with TP3, 78, 1, 2. And where is 4? Oh my God, 60. I don't even, have we even been that low? No, the low it's ever been is 70. Y'all, we're trading history. If you're here tonight, this might have been the most important thing you could see. If you don't have gold, some type of real estate, some type of dividend producing asset, a job, something dealing with AI, it's about to get bad. I'm telling you, because this right here, this is the monthly. So this is telling me how many months did it take to run up from here. This was 89. This was June 21. This took till October 22. So June, October. So off of these lows, June, we've been trading sideways on the dollar since 2015. So what made this run up? What was this? Oh, this was after COVID. This was after COVID. Where's COVID? December 2020, March. Right here is COVID. Okay. So they locked everybody down right about here, and the whole thing just crashed. We double bottomed. They gave us the money, and it ran up. Everybody used up all the money. The Fed starts cutting a couple of years ago, and everything crashed out. And now he refuses to cut, and everything is crashing out. So this does not look good with the dollar. Let's just put it that way. This means your spending power. Pretty soon you go out to go eat with two people and it's going to be $200. I mean, you might be able to keep the gas low, but if you can't keep the food and the bare essentials cheap for people, this says Great Depression to me. And you always get a blow off top in the stock market before that happens. Before every big crash, they just run it up. They run it up and then they pull it back. Just like over here in 2007. This was the crash over there when the president came on and said, it's too big for the banks to fail. Look at what it was doing right before it crashed. It was all green. And then boom, they just fell off a cliff. So we'll be keeping our eye on it, you know, because crashes create millionaires. You know, and now that we know how to do options and we're aware of the plan and what we're seeing, we ride it all the way down. We make the money both ways. I mean, we're not going to sit there and leave money on the table because they didn't manage money well and they didn't do things the way they were supposed to do. We're going to do the best that we can to our ability to catch the top with puts that are weekly, monthly, quarterly, and ride it all the way down and take that money. We're just not going to leave it there. And when it turns around and comes back, we'll buy the dips on the bottoms and get back in. And I'm looking at this. This tells me why Berkshire Hathaway sold. When you look at this on the monthly, this tells me why. Because you can't time the crash. And you're like, no, I'm out. I work too hard for my money. I'm out. And that's what I say a lot of times, take profit because we work too hard. You know, when the dollar started, this is where Berkshire Hathaway closed his S&P position, right around this area. And what do we have here? Tweezer tops, a double top that occurred back in January, February. So people that are watching this, they're like, man, imagine if you shorted this from 108. And there are people that are just sitting in this. And I put right here, this is the point where I said start buying gold. Breaking point. I put notes on the chart. It's already past where I said start buying gold. I started saying buy gold at 98. So let's look at gold real quick and we're done. What's gold futures doing now that the dollar is crashing out? GL, where's my gold futures or gold period? Yeah, look at gold now. Gold is going up on the monthly. Now, one thing we have to watch about gold is We triple topped out at 317. If you see gold breaking out of, I would say half of this, like maybe right here. If you see gold start breaking above like 312, 315, if you hear gold breaking 317, you really want to be in before that and you want to go long. But if you hear it breaking all-time highs, then you know something's going on bad, because it doesn't go up when there's a good market. It goes up when there's a bad market. And the next TP is 331, and this is on the monthly. So this is letting me know something is broke. Even though the market is going up, it still tells me, listen, you can drive a car with bad brakes, oil leaking, windows shot out, bullet holes through the doors, and it'll still get you where it needs to go. But everything is not good, if that makes sense. Transmission shaking, the muffler's dragging the ground, pop, 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 you stop, it's multiple backfires. You're like, man, that's a nice car. Yeah, until I start driving and you hear all this, boop, 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 all this. It'll get you to where you need to go. And even though we're going up, it'll make you money. The car gets you to work. The car gets you home, but there are better options. So that's all I have. Anybody else have any other questions? I just happened to see the dollar and went on a little bit longer. Any questions about that?
I have a question, but I just want to mention, I don't know if you heard what Trump said over the weekend. He's talking about the stock market being at all-time highs and saying that we will maintain it. And also the White House economic advisor Hassett said today that there is a 0 chance of a recession. What do you think about that?
Well, that's what the charts are showing. So that's what I'm saying right here. If you look at these charts, so let's just look at the SPY, because that's the whole market. Look at this. If we go to the quarterly, so we just started a new quarter, right? I think January, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, new quarter. So y'all should do this at the beginning of each quarter. Look at that. That's all green. So that's what I was just saying. And look, November area, I was just saying 690, because it looks like to me we're headed to 661 on the quarter.
But what about the dollar and gold, though? That's because when you look at
As
that,
long as the dollar is going down, oh man, look at on the quarter. Jeez. So yeah, you get a weak dollar, it gives you a stronger market. They work against each other. So at some point, this is going to break. I don't know when. I don't know if it's going to be when we hit 89. I don't know if it's going to be when we hit 60, when we hit 70. I don't know. It could be next year, because we're still not even at TP1. But we'll keep our eye on it. But it looks like, to me, looks like 661 over this next 3 months, which, I mean, that's a nice move. And then on the SPX, we're looking like 7. I mean, we're getting close to the 7,000s now. 64, 6,500 over the next month or so. I mean, they're getting ready to push it. So the thing is, we want to take our profit. We don't want to play around when we're up in profit, because at any day this could be over and you have to trade it down. And I feel like it might just come in the dead of night. So just don't be unaware. If you see the dollar crashing like very, very quickly down to 78, I would be taking profit and looking for puts, because it's just unsustainable. And then I think from that point would be when we see Bitcoin fly up over like 120, 130, something like that. And then they come on and do one of the maneuvers that my man did back in the day. If you got gold, gold is now illegal. You can't have gold. If you got dollars, turn your dollars in at your nearest bank. We're now using XRP and Bitcoin is our new cash. We're going cashless. And these big gaps in here make me think that, the way the market is looking and the way that the dollar is crashing, I mean, we got to use something. And so if we're not going to be able to use the dollar to buy anything, because a dollar now ain't worth nothing. Look at these big jumps, 115, 118. I mean, it could shoot us up here in the 130s on Bitcoin. So anybody holding any Bitcoin or XRP would automatically just be, I mean, very, very wealthy. Let's just say that. Because look at XRP. We're sitting in a buy on the daily. We're looking at $3, but let's look at the quarter. Everybody's been talking about that XRP was going to these crazy amounts. I don't know how it would unless there's something that drives it above. All-time highs is $3, somewhere in that area. So we will see. But it looks like the market's going up. And the president definitely doesn't want to crash on his watch. So I definitely, to me, it looks like the market is going up. How high before the next pullback? I don't know. I mean, last time it did this, it went up for 2 years. I couldn't believe it, but you just have to trade what's in front of you. Last time the SPY ran like this, it ran for 2 years. So we can be bearish and say that it's going to come down, but look at this run up. And it didn't stop until this year. We went from October the 23rd, or November the 23rd, excuse me. No, October. There we go. We got a buy, and we ran all the way until February of this year, 2025. So we went a long time. I mean, 24, we went all of 23. I mean, that was a long run. 23 to 24 to 25. Yeah, like 2-year run. Somewhere around there. And then look, we were above the market over here. Yeah, so it actually started March 2023 over here, but we were above the 200. We just barely peaked out of it, and we were right back. So honestly, you could say March 23rd. So 23 and 24. We ran for 2 years. We had some little pullbacks, but if you bought the dip, like I say, back above the 200, back up and running. Pull back, buy the dip, back up and running. Pull back, buy the dip, back up and running. And then we got this big, massive pullback this year. Buy the dip, boom, back up and running. And so now we're looking like 700. I would say at least 650 before another $25 or so, maybe 700 before we even get a nice sizable pullback. But we shall see. It looks like literally they've shaken the bottle up. They've shaken the bottle up and it's gone. Anybody else? We are done. Anybody else? Any questions at all? All right, well, check it out. I'll put some stuff in the chat tomorrow. I'll be up early. I'm going to bed early. I'm trading the open tomorrow morning, nice and early. And SPY's still up. This is since we've been on, gapped up, pull back, and now we're triggering another buy on the 2-minute and headed to 62.59. From there, I think by morning, I think we would have closed the highs of where we were last week, back into that 62.80 area. All right, guys. Well, that's it. See you guys on Tuesday night. And if you haven't done so, check out the YouTube channel, subscribe over there. And I'm going to be posting more videos over there starting probably this week. I'll probably be doing like some early morning videos early just to give you the levels. So by the time you get up, and video will already be recorded with all the levels for the day. And things are subject to change, but it just kind of gives you an idea of what's going to happen probably like Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. And then we already talk on Tuesday. So that'll give you Sunday, a video Monday, Tuesday's class, a video Wednesday, and then a video on Friday. So basically you have guidance like the whole week of what's going to go on. And because I'm trying to trade that 4 a.m. time frame and trade futures more. And so, yeah, that's what I'm doing. So, but see you guys on Tuesday.
All right. Thanks, Anthony.
All right.
Anthony.
Have a good one.
You too.